Hello, this is Nina Koo, and on this week's The Sensitive Voice, I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the sad news about Kate Spade, the designer who took her life yesterday. So, as highly sensitive people, we have an amazing ability, which I think is a gift, to feel deeply and to think deeply. And this is what makes us very creative and often the visionaries and the instigators of great change in our society. But like most powerful gifts, we do sometimes have to be careful because there is a shadow side. And obviously, if we're going to be thinking deeply about things, sometimes that our thoughts can go down negative thought patterns. And we have to be very mindful when this happens to catch them before we go down into a spiral of doom. So yesterday when I heard the sad news about Kate Spade, I cried. And I cried partly because I think she's a similar age to me, and also I just really admired her talent and what she'd achieved as a woman and as an entrepreneur. But mostly I cried because I could resonate at some level with the despair that she must have felt to lead her to take such a tragic and sort of have such a sad outcome for her life and for her family. And I don't know if Kate Spade was highly sensitive, but what I do know is that most highly sensitive people will resonate with the despair that she felt, because we do feel deeply about things. And as I said earlier, we have to be mindful that we don't go down this spiral of doom when we start thinking about negative things. Just as an example, this morning my daughter was having a tantrum about going to after school club. It's the first time she's doing it, it's new, I understand her fears, and she was very, very reluctant, to put it mildly. And my husband stepped in and sort of compromised with her and said he'd pick her up earlier. And of course my then highly sensitive mind went to all sorts of spiral of thoughts going, oh my goodness, so we're giving in to her and she's driving a wedge between my husband and me, etc., 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 until I saw ourselves getting divorced and me sort of telling my husband to take the children because I couldn't cope with them anymore. And of course that's not going to happen. But as a highly sensitive person with 100,000 different thoughts, this immediately is where our minds can go if we don't catch ourselves and go, do you know what? What is the problem here? Okay, the problem is, take a step back. My daughter doesn't want to go to after school club. Let's pause and think about how we can work together to make it happen so that she's happy going and that I get some time to myself. And so it's about working out, pausing, taking a step, taking things slowly and not letting yourself go to the worst possible outcome. And I think that's something that I certainly know I have a tendency to do as a highly sensitive person. And sadly, I think a lot of highly sensitive people who do end up depressed and taking radical action, as Kate Spade did, there is a thought process that can lead you down into this spiral of despair where you think there is no other option and you see no way out. And so to stop us from getting to that stage, we really need to be mindful of our thoughts and to be ready to pause and take a step back before it gets too far. And also to have a network of other people who understand what you're going through, that you can reach out to and talk to. Because we've all been there, we can all empathize. Just because we're having a bad day today doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a bad day tomorrow. And it's about being in the company of other people who can point this out and remind you about this. So my heart goes out to Kate Spade and her family and her friends that are left behind, and God bless them, and I give them much love and support for the days and years to come. And if any of you are ever in that situation, please do reach out and speak to somebody, because none of us want any of our loved ones to go into that spiral of doom. So this was Nina Koo on this week's The Sensitive Voice on a very sad topic, but hopefully helping the world see sensitive in a positive light. I'll see you next week.